Been 11 years.
Zacharias nods in his direction for him to continue.
It's the place that I committed the crime which Brandiskar wished to punish me for.
Oh, what was it? Arson, I think, and blasphemy.
The destruction of a cathedral.
Hmm.
Well, it was a church, so it was going to be turned into a cathedral at some point.
Oh.
So now you are at 2.
Zacharias laughs.
Yes, I seem to have increased my rep sheet slightly. Anyway. Oh, well, I'm curious to see how much the place has changed over the years, before it's burned down to the ground by the fire axe.
Zacharias nods slowly. I suppose so. So looks around. As I said, Davern is new area for me. I have never been in that part of the country. So looks around. Does anyone else have any knowledge of the local area, or perhaps some pre-information on what we might walk into?
Aaron trucks.
None.
Looks around very well then. If everyone is ready to leave, I suggest we make our way towards the Davern.
By all means.
Azurius in his now luscious robes spin space you. Very well. Do you wish to depart now?
I have nothing further to do in the city for now. All my business are concluded for the moment. I am ready to leave.
Then let us not delay and go.
Zacharias, gets up, looks around. Very well, I will gather some of my things, meet me in the hallway in a few minutes then. And he sweeps out of the room.
Kyron will go gather his things as well until he realizes that he doesn't really have any things.
And Azurius is just waiting in the hallway because everything he has is on him, either in his backpack or inside one of his more magical containers.
Well, same as Cash. She didn't really unpack when she came here.
Does she have like huge wardrobe with her?
No, she has a little backpack.
I forgot the most important thing for me to grab, my altar.
Yes. Clearly that needs to come along.
I need my altar. What if, for example, I needed to curse the place?
Yes, exactly.
Speaking, while Zacharias is in his room,
Yep.
Azurius is going to come over and knock on the door.
You don't really hear anything, it's warded from everything, but the door will crack open a bit and Zacharias will sort of glare at him from beyond the crack. Yes.
I have a delivery for you, by the way. And Azurius will slip through the door, however much you've got it open, a large framed painting of a very proud-looking dragon, Tilamundus. And Azurius will just say to you, "It is mandatory," and leave.
But Zacharias glares at the painting.
It's a very fine painting, masterwork quality.
Whatever. Zacharias will throw it into one of his bags of holding. Mumbling to himself, freaking dragon and his big ego. When that's gonna burst, it's gonna be worse than that a cathedral exploded. Mumbling to himself, packaging his thing, sending the chest away. And then it will go out in the hallway and wait for the others.
Azurius is looking at you with kind of a smile.
Yeah, let's leave.
Zacharias glares at Chiron.
Kyron tries very hard to look innocent, but fails horribly.
He just looks at him very disapprovingly, mumbles to himself.
Well, Zacharias is glaring that way. You probably get a wink from Azurius.
Very well, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Then we are off to Davrin. And Zacharias will teleport us away to the camp of the Fyrax, which hopefully the two spy devils they have in their employ these days have scouted out for them.
Oh yeah, I forgot we have those.
You're using a teleport that allows you to teleport anywhere?
Yeah.
By not having been there before?
Well, if I have the place described for me, I can use a
great.
greater teleportation to without fail appear there.
Sure. You have the last camp you saw Firex was at a keep near the city,
All right.
and so you disappear.
Yeah, Zacharias, you could literally pinpoint the table.
We'll do a deserter entrance. I think the Fyrax might be a little bit peeved if we just show up in his inner sanctum like that.
You know, it is still a fun way of doing it, though.
It certainly is.
We're the almighty Whispering Lords.
We are the most.
We must have the dramatic entrance.
We are the most powerful evil agents in Thorn's employ for sure. Perhaps we are now the most deadly evil force in the whole united evil force in the whole kingdom. Who knows?
And so you appear outside a little ruin, clearly. What was once the keep here has clearly been smashed to pieces and ripped apart. And in the distance, you can sort of see towards the sea a lot of smoke rising. This is clearly no longer the camp. And something has clearly been going on a bit distance from here.
Very well. I thought this might happen. Zacharias looks around. Hang on, let me check a spell. 2 seconds. Actually, how many targets I can select with this?
I should have prepared elevator music for this.
Yeah, exactly. How many can you target with an airwalk?
I can target all of us.
Airwalk.
I can hit airwalk, and it's only the single target. But
I was thinking of overland flight actually, but I don't think you can actually cast that on many people.
You won't need it to cast it on me.
Oh yeah, you.
No,
You're...
no
Well,
on Kyron.
And technically, I can sprout wings and so can Cash.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, then
What's the
Zacharias.
problem?
Zacharias will cast it on himself and just float up.
And Zacharias will, Azurius will sprout his fiery wings from the back of his black robes.
That's probably a new feature for Kyron, right? He has these huge wings now.
Yeah, he'll just suddenly have wings pretty much and be very casual about it.
Was it like a very like loud night from Kyron's room there? It's like he has some horrible like. I think he's drunk or something. He's smashing everything. Except when it grew out.
You know, you can't really tell because he was drunk sometimes and made loud noises.
Very well then. Zacharias
But yeah,
will...
Kyron now has rather large, leathery red dragon wings and uses them with a lot of fun, apparently. Because flying is nice. Not that silly magical flying that doesn't feel like anything.
Well, Zacharias will then float up in the air, look to the others and say, then, well, shall we?
Marcus turns into a bat.
Cast just
A dire bat.
Does he have like does he like move up his cape before his face when he does it? Like
No, there's just like a little puff of smoke and then he's a bat.
Alright.
Cast just fly up there with Chloe.
Alright. We fly off at top speed towards the direction where it seems the trail be leading.
Also, even if we're in sunlight, Marcus always seems to be shrouded in shadow.
Oh.
He has an umbrella. Ella, Ella, Ella.
The Asurius would know that the smoke does come from the direction of the city of Dabrin. And as you fly, half an hour or so, you begin to see it rising, or the remnants of it. It is a complete ruin. The walls have been smashed. The keep is flaming, smoldering ruin. Everything about this once great city has clearly been invaded by bugbears. And they have had their way with it. If you think of how the Vale was, if you think about Sanctum, clearly that city has been spared compared to Davrin.
No, wow.
Currently, you see banners of all kinds tattered and broken rising above this city as bugbears, giants, ogres, and goblins, hobgoblins, all kinds of monster humanoids are just amassing through the streets. Most of them seem to simply be enjoying themselves, drinking, burning, pillaging, killing, whatever it is. If there was a battle here, it has clearly been done for at least a week. You see the blazing banner of the fire axe rised over what only Asurius would know as the city hall.
Ah. Well, they've been to work at this place. Azorius points down. There. The city hall, which apparently is now slightly in ruins.
Slightly.
They've really, this place has really changed. A lot more smoke and rubble. Actually feels kind of nice compared to what happened here. Azorius Omens look very nostalgic, like looking around the town mid-flight.
Yeah. He recognizes almost nothing. It does look quite different from when he last was here.
Well, there's been an invasion and it's been 11 years.
Also, he was looking at it from street level, not bird level.
Well, occasionally I was a bit higher up off the ground, but...
It is clear to say that the population of the city, in humans, is most likely in the... living, stable population, none, really. You would guess. Should look upon it. You don't need to copy your tokens for this next map.
We don't?
No, I already did it.
Okay. Devrin.
Oh, it has a boat in its seal.
A boat.
A boat.
Yes. You fly above the city, looking down upon the ruin.
Is there an obvious camp where the fire axe would...
Yes, there is what Asurius would know as the town hall that has his banner road. Right? It is sort of a tattered, of course, brutishly made one, sewn together from many black cloth, most likely from fallen enemies and such.
Yeah, Azorius will point that out for you.
Yeah, that seems to be a good place to start.
And he flies nostalgically through the sky.
Yep.
Sure. You'll get quite a few looks from bugbears and what, but they don't seem to be too bothered by you. They seem to be rather in a jubilant mood in their feastings and their enjoyment, somewhat digging through the rubble, sometimes picking up things that they stick somewhere in their fur to keep it for later. But you arrive in the town hall and find that the doors, the gates, are broken in and open, and there's no real trouble in entering. It should be said that whenever you look at anything, there are scampering goblins all around. These are not represented by tokens, and that would make it incredible. It seems that there are quite a few now. Even if it wasn't there, they weren't there for the beginning of the whole campaign and the hard haul. They've clearly come for the looting and the enjoyment of whatever treasure has been found. And so you come to into the town hall. It has clearly been refurnished quite a bit. Piles of barrels, quite a lot of monstrous humanoids, and some tables with things. You do see, if you look hard, that between the legs of what's clearly quite a large and strong frost giant, clad in heavy armor, there is a Sakurot. And this is not the Sakurot you've been used to seeing. This is a bugbear lord in his prime. He's clearly a chieftain of quite some stature, and instead of the stolen, sort of hammered into shape knight's plate he has been wearing before, he now has a completely obsidian black, hellish plate, fitting to him perfectly, clearly highly magical. He makes a quite impressive stature and seems to indeed have humbled this giant in front of him. Something that some of you might know. Frost giants are incredibly vain and sort of full of themselves, really. Is quite something extraordinary. He also seems quite in a good mood currently, although a little grumbling about something.
Alright, well, I guess we enter with all the flash and panache we can muster, like swooping wings, burning, burning sounds, and Zacharias silently as landing in the middle of it all. His cloak billowing.
The room changing to hell around Azurius.
Get a lot of attention as different creatures, trolls and whatnot, all look towards you and sort of brandish their things.
Oh.
The fire axe,
things, I see.
having a grin on his face as he sees it, brushes away the giant. And towards you, spreading out his arms.
Screw you, giant. Yeah.
Giant nodding and standing aside.
Yeah, Zacharias, smiling actually quite honestly, sort of start walking towards him also, outstretching his arm.
He waves some bugbears around away from a nearby table.
As Azurius, of course, approaches, his fiery wings completely outspread at the moment.
Zacharias gliding over the floor like by an inch, like Magneto.
Raises out his arms to you. My lords, welcome to Davrin. With your skill at throwing open gates, I'd hoped to have your aid, but he looks around. This city could not wait to fall beneath my killer's blades. He smiles. There's sort of the ogres and bugbears and such seem to be. They speak rather loudly, and they seem to be listening in as they all come with a few roars from here and there, reinforcing his words.
Zacharias smiles. Ah, Lord Sakharov. It is good to see a friendly and competent face for once. No, alas, the business in the Vale of Alterna dragged on for a bit. He sort of looks around. We also had to clear out in a hurry. Has your lieutenants and whatever remained of your forces returned to you? Nightmane and what was his other name?
The head taker.
There.
Hours a little bit. Yes, I've received 2 bugbears out of 200, but I suppose that can't be helped. You needed the troops, clearly. Now, we have matters to attend to, as he waves, and all the creatures in here, some a little begrudgingly, are forced to leave. Although not before they take their barrel of ale and put it on your table.
Oh, great.
How convenient.
I gesture Kyron to that seat.
Yeah.
Well, Kyron will gesture himself to that seat.
Kyron is now
Potions.
tap master.
He just smashes it down in whatever was here before. Just sit down.
Azurius kind of like flies around in a circular pattern.
So gestures. Take a seat, drink. I'm sure you've had a long journey.
And Azurius will land, turning his wings into ash.
You sort of, as you sit down, take your place, look at you and says, so, are you here on a mission?
Something like that, Sakurai smiles. The good and always friendly Lady Theodora asked us to assist you, Lord Sakharov here in Davern. He sort of looks around, but for what I see of the city, that doesn't seem to be really necessary.
I have to say, Sakharov, you've done a hell of a number in this place. I remember this place when it was in full glory.
You know, it's not really accepting the compliment. Well, if you're sent here to support me, I have something for you to do if you're interested. The Duke of Davern seems to have escaped me. Seems a little annoyed at this. It's possible he's just gone. He may have some magical means of leaving the city, so it may be just a fool's errand. But I suspect he wouldn't. Duke Martin famously hated wizards. I bet he's holed up in the city somewhere. But so far my killers have failed to find him. I would love to have him dragged before me in chains. Would be good for morale, too. Other than that, enjoy my city. I care not what you do to this place. I'll be rid of it soon enough.
Oh,
There are pockets of resistance here and there, I'm told. You're welcome to deal with those however you see fit. You can simply loot the ruins, of course. I'll warn you. My killers are thorough. If you want the best treasure, you'll have to find places they can't get to. Ah, look at me. Lecturing you as if you were whelps. You know all of this. He again gets up and takes a big drink of his mug.
the Duke, you say? Interesting.
Sakurai smiles.
Truth to be told, this isn't really what I wanted to talk to you about.
Understandable.
This I could have said before the troops.
Yes, well, Sakurai looks at the ruin. It is, truth be told, Sakharov, I, for one, would not be against going through Davern. Never been there before. Looks like a city to my taste these days. He sort of looks around. And if the Duke hates wizards, at least, the poetic justice of a wizard capturing him might be a fun distraction. We have been spending our resources quite liberally as of late. Refilling them with some easy pickings from the ruins might not be the most glorious work, but if it is possibly to be profitable, I for one would at least take a look. He smiles.
Sakharov sort of nods and says, the city was only easily taken for one reason. The Duke was an idiot, and he had defended the city lightly. The Baron of Westkirk, said Nods, remember, revealed a secret entrance from the sea caves to the palace. Anyone with sense would have collapsed that as soon as our army drew near, but the Duke probably imagined he could escape through it.
I see.
I captured a hollow city. He was kind of annoyed. Most of the army was missing. They massed south under the king's banner. I know it. An army marches towards me. It is led by King Mercadian himself, an army I cannot hope to defeat in the open field. Do you know anything about any of this? He seems a little desperate currently.
Huh. Sakharov quirks an eyebrow. Well, Sakharov, you are a friend to our group. He sort of looks at the others to sort of, get their support in this statement.
You have cash support. I got your back.
Cash nods vigorously.
Marcus nods.
And as long as I get to deal with that Duke later, you definitely have my full support.
Do you know, Sakharov, what we have been doing the last months?
He sort of shakes his head slightly. I know only what you told me. I have asked, of course, of Theodora, but I get nothing but japes.
Yes. That hell-spawned bitch is a plague to all of us. That is true. Sakurai sort of throws one leg over the other, leans back in the chair. We have been busy in the city of Gaston Hall and the Vale of Alterna. I am pleased to say... Oh, you do know the Vale, of course.
He nods.
I am pleased to say then that the Vale is an ashen ruin. Nothing remains of the Holy Mithrin fate in that place. We have destroyed it all.
He raises an eyebrow, sort of leaning back, and says, so you have not only taken a city, but a temple. Well, this sounds like a good time. I'm glad my warriors died for such a noble cause.
They were instrumental to taking the Vale. They died a good death. Zacharias smiles. But yes, as I said, we had to extricate ourselves rather quickly from that place. Rarely, the blood had barely dried on our swords from the Archangel Armathra before we heard the war horns of the king's army. He marched on the Vale. We quickly went to the battlements and looked upon it, and it is a formidable force, Sakharov. It is, what was it, like 20,000 strong, something like that, Malachi?
At least.
Yeah, it is at least 20,000 strong. Most of them seems to be professional soldiers, to my eye. I am not an expert, perhaps Lictor Thorn, Vestromo, he smiles, could elaborate further on their military capabilities, but their numbers are certainly high. As Marcus no doubt can enlighten you on the military tactics and capabilities of the army, I can only furnish you with this. Sort of pauses for effect. The king marches under a special banner, a holy relic to the faith, brought to him by a questing knight from the south, called Richard Haviland. I'm sad to say that we have encountered this Richard Haviland before, and he has slipped through our grasps, by means that we can perhaps discuss in detail later, because it is something I think you should know, Sakharov. Nevertheless, this banner infuses the king's army with holy power. They do not tire, they do not sweat, they do not freeze. They do not need to eat as much. All of this is brought as well as heaven's blessing itself upon the army.
He frowns and sort of again drinks deep as his drink and says, "So, we're outnumbered, outmatched. I was supposed to be victorious against the armies of Talengard." Just smacking his cup down into the table, sort of shaking everything on it and cracking the cup. That was always the plan. I was only to lose to. And then he stops, looking at you, suddenly regaining his conscious.
Zacharias leans closer. You were supposed to lose.
He sort of looks at you, one to the other. You had some information you wished to relay to me, something I should know.
Zacharias looks around. Yes. He looks at the room. Is this place warded?
He sort of sweeps a hand over. The Duke hated wizards. Of course it's warded.
Chiron will actually interrupt Zacharias here, but before we talk to you about things, it sounds like you have something to talk to us about. A plan where you were supposed to lose? We would like to know more about that.
He sort of leans back. Says, all right then. I suppose, since it's all gonna end before I suspect it, I might as well tell you everything. Just, wiping the broken cup off of the table, not caring for the figurines and what else is on it. When Thorn found me, I was dying, poisoned and weak. I'd been outcast from my tribe and branded across my chest with a giant gash from a shaman's obsidian blade. The mark of the defeated and the banished. I was cast out onto the ice to die alone and unmourned. He also looks at you. Clearly this is not something he tells many people. Thorn took me in, healed me. He drew the poison from my wound, and with his magic, the scar of the outcast was remade into the Asmodean star. He marked my flesh and my soul. I was then forever bound to the Cardinal and to the Lord of Hell. He just raises his hand. Do not think me a victim. Willingly I gave myself to this service. What did I have to lose? All that remained of my old life was death and disgrace. Thorn set me upon another path. The Cardinal said that if I would but serve him, he would give me all I wished for. He has been true to his word. He has made me mighty amongst my people. He has erased the dishonor of banishment and given me a new name. Sort of flexes his muscles, the armor cracking a bit. He has bestowed me with mighty gifts. I am most famous for my axe, true enough, but even more than that, he gave me this. He reaches to his brow, and below the fur you see a very discreet ring of iron around his head. This is the crown of iron. It makes me wise and wary. I am able to speak to my people with authority. It makes me truly worthy of being a king. He sort of lets the fur fall down, hiding it again. But there was always a price. In time, I will face an army not of Telerians, but of those under the banner of Asmodeus. When I face that army, I will lead my force to its utter destruction. He sort of frowns, biting every word. All those who chant my name and honor me now, I will betray. My killers have become like my children, and upon the altar of war I will sacrifice them for the glory and of Asmodeus and those who are held high by him. Then I will go to the throne of iron far in the north. I will serve there for the rest of my life at this side of Thorn. My time of glory will be over. Then begins my time of service to pay for what I have been given. He takes a deep breath, sort of looking at his cup, clearly wanting to drink more but unable to. I enjoy every single day of my dominion. I savor every moment of my prize. He looks clearly contemplating smashing the barrel just to get something out of it. But I know this will not last. He looks at you. Tower. Do you know the plan? Do you know what Thorn has planned?
Zacharias moves his fingers together. We have perhaps glimpsed some of his plan, although as to his ultimate motive, I am afraid I can only guess at the moment. We have observed some peculiar moves by Thorn in the past, and it is of these I perhaps wish to speak to you then, Sakharov. Sort of looks down at the table. It seems to me that Thorn is leading you to your death.
He smacks the table hard and stands up. What is his plan? How will he deal with the king's forces? He must have one. Looks quite enraged at the moment. Yet whenever I speak to that devil Hala Theodore, all I get is sneers and japes. You know the Thorn's mind better than anyone. What would you guess he intends to do?
Zachariah sort of looks almost like a little pained towards Fyrax and says, well, Sakharov, honestly and truly, I believe he is breaking his word to you, or trying to manipulate you in some other way. We have observed strange behavior from Thorn in the past year or so. Remember the questing knight that found the holy banner that now fuels the king's army? That night, I said he eluded our grasp. We have good reasons to believe that it was Thorn that helped him escape us.
A flash of hellfire.
Yes. A flash of hellfire whisked the boy away from our grasp. And now he is a honored general and a finder of a holy artifact that fuels the whole army and makes them that much harder to defeat. This is to our mind, a sort of motions towards the group, almost an open declaration of betrayal against hell itself. He has not only spared an enemy, he has helped him escape and allowed him to carry a powerful artifact directly into the hands of the enemy. And now he seems to lead you straight into your death, Sakharov. I'm sorry to say, but your loyalty might be misplaced when it comes to Thorn.
Sort of looks at you, calming down as he begins to sit again. Saying nothing. I'm sorry.
We have not spoken of this outside of our group much. We do not wish to alert Thorn before we are in a position to handle any fallout that would come from such a grand revelation. You understand, I'm sure. He sort of nods slowly to himself. And know that we are your allies, Zakharoth. I, for one, appreciate all that you have done for us, and you have been a staunch ally through all of this. And again, I, for one, do not wish to see you perish on the fields against an invincible heavenly army. So it looks to the others.
So it would seem then that Thorn has no plan. I have that hard to believe that he would throw away all he has worked for.
It seems strange. He might have spies or agents in place inside the king's inner circle, perhaps. Sakurai shrugs. I do not know. I would think that such a inner circle would be very well protected, since the king itself is there. Perhaps Thorn still has a plan. I will confess, though, that he has not revealed any details beyond this to us. His behavior is odd. And his protection and apparent patronage of the Haviland boy is a stroke of sentimentality. The boy is one of his only surviving family, you see.
Cyrus shakes his head. So I have no choice then. I shall fulfill my part of the bargain and be blessed in the eyes of hell, if by nothing else.
The Grace raises a hand slightly. Perhaps Sakharoth and perhaps not. He sort of motions to the group. We have become quite powerful in the years. We possess now powers far beyond anything when you first met us. And there might be something we can do to help you escape your destiny, if that is your wish.
He looks and sort of shakes his head and says, my destiny has already been forged. I will serve those who serve Asmodeus, and at the moment Thorn is the highest authority from hell. If someone else was to be chosen, if I was to see the proof of such an election, then my loyalty would be to them. I lost my life many years ago. The one I have now has yet to be paid. I do not wish to run from my debt to Asmodeus. She looks about it. I know that everything I do is sinful. I know that I kill. I know that I murder, destroy. I know that I lead a band of murderers to a slaughter. But so is the will. So is it that I've been tasked. I shall enjoy my reward for some time longer. The king cannot be here yet. We have time.
So your eyes looks...
If he truly was at the Vale, it'll be months before he arrives to Davrin.
Your eyes looks positively, pained almost, as I said. If that is what you actually wish, Sakharoth, but know that the Whispering Lords has the power to save you from this fate if you so choose. I will not force this upon you, of course. It is your life to do with as you wish. But know that your service to the cause does not need to end on that field of slaughter. We can pull you out.
Yeah, he looks at Zacharias nods slowly. Then perhaps sometime you will hear from me.
Zacharias nods. Good. Very good. I also know that Thorn has sent out riders carrying the tears of Aklis to different parts of the kingdom. I suspect now that we have cut off one of the 3 legs of the Mithrin faith, the leg of healing, that when the plague hits, it will be quite devastating.
No, slowly. I see. I have much to think of. If you would catch the Duke for me, that would be good. Again, I do not know if he is still here. Enjoy the city. I know that Theodora will return here to hear upon our progress in a month. Exactly from today. He sort of smiles a bit. She did not expect me to take the city so fast.
Theodora doesn't... is sort of... One day, Sakharov, I promise you that I will kill her.
Zacharias. She would simply return to her home plane, rather bind her to some menial task for eternity.
Zacharias grins. Yes, well, I do think we might need a new maid in the mansion kitchen.
Zacharias smiles. If only I could last long enough looking at her face without wishing to kick her teeth in. Grumbles. Devil hag.
It is good to see you again, Sakharov.
Grumbles more, clearly taking out some of his frustration on the name of Theodora.
Something we can all enjoy.
Oh, yes.
Sakharov looks around then. Well, if we have a duke to catch, I suspect that we can lodge in this here fine keep, yes?
Yes, President, sleep wherever you wish. The city's ours. The troops are not likely to listen to you, but make an impressive figure and most will leave you alone.
If nothing else, I'm sure Fireball will sort it out.
He sort of shrugs. Since we're doomed anyway, the numbers do not really matter.
Well, no point wasting resources anyway. It's easy to make an impressive display for your troops.
Sits down. He's clearly a bit sort of still contemplating what he has said, perhaps more than what you have said.